Hello everybody, for this video I'm going to have a little look at my Okinawa game. So I don't have editing equipment, so I'm just going to record myself looking at the game, and there'll be nothing special about this. It's just I'll be speaking off the cuff. So where are we? The start date was the 1st and we are up to the 10th. So we're kind of like halfway through, less than halfway through, but this is where we're at. The airfield, or the airfields, both of them, these were uncontested. I didn't make a move to secure this bridge. Same with this town here, and I could have tried to have a meeting engagement at this castle, but I didn't bother. So the Americans basically moved up here, and the pinnacle was about one of the first places that combat started. So they came across here, and I probably held this place for about 3 turns, maybe 4 turns, or 4 battles rather. But the Japanese didn't have very good equipment. A lot of it was quite poor units. But I did manage to retake the mountain here, or cliff. It's quite a reasonably good piece of defensive geography. But I was overwhelmed by tanks and flame tanks particularly. But I didn't have good mortars or anything like that, and the way I'm playing it is the Japanese are fearless or always obey orders. Line on line, 15 minutes game, so the battles happen quite quickly. Moving on here to Cactus Ridge. The first battle, I actually managed to really punish the Americans as they entered the map, but very quickly afterwards they were able to spread across this mountain and take it off me. By that time I was starting to get good units, like anti-tank guns and all that, but they were able to take it out quite easily. The rule that I had was all conscripts ignore the VL rule, and any unit can ignore the VL rule if a cave falls outside of the VL rule. So it kind of simulates the Japanese way of fighting out of caves and hiding places. What do we got next? This Kakazu Ridge. This was kind of a disaster for me. This is when my first tank units started to arrive, and they came at it from a funny angle, and I think it was a meeting engagement, and it was all just a real disaster for the Japanese. The Americans were able to quickly get across the map, and I tried to make a stand around this mountain area here, but it didn't work out well. The Japanese tank units are completely inappropriate, because they're mainly just tanks with only a couple of scouting units, and it's just not good enough. If this was converted to Last Stand Arnhem, then I would merge the unit with a proper battle group with other types of equipment. I really feel like this mod is crying out for a Last Stand Arnhem conversion. If any of you guys have played Okinawa Grand Campaign, let me know how it went. If you don't like the mod, or you do like it, feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think. So the Pinnacle and the Cactus Ridge and the Kakazu Ridge, it fell reasonably quickly. after the pinnacle was taken, which took a little bit longer, this is when we reached Tombstone Ridge, and the Nishibaru Ridge. This area was a little bit more of a heavier fight. The Japanese undoubtedly do have good stuff. They've got all of their anti-tank guns aren't that great, but their infantry have satchel charges and dynamite and TNT. So some of their heavy infantry can be very lethal. And I have had quite a few successful bonsai charges on tanks, American Sherman flame tanks, and I've taken quite a few out. Tombstone Ridge, it's quite interesting because with Gold Juno Sword, you might be familiar with the two maps outside of Pegasus Bridge. I could be wrong about the names. Is it Ranville? And there was another one on both sides of Pegasus Bridge, and it kind of serves as an area where you really kind of want to delay the Americans, and this is what this map kind of turns out to be. And you can see two roads here, and it really does kind of serve as how should I say this, a transition point for the Americans to literally move through these roads. So the Americans are forced into a position where they need to continue advancing, and they need to get their battle groups off the staging area and deeper into the island. So they'll often go through Tombstone Ridge and then pass on through the other side, and leave the Japanese defending the area to meet the next load of Americans heading down the highway, which I thought was really cool. So he was never able to fully kick me out of the map, so it was just a constant defense. And the Americans would often lose a lot of their progress that they made and have to start back at the top of the road again, which would give me a good opportunity to try and wear down the battle groups passing through, which I thought was really cool. The Tanabaru Escarpment, I believe it's pronounced. This was sort of the same deal. I'd constantly have Americans attacking the hill, punching their way through and then getting on the other side. And they tried all sorts of things, like starting here and then attacking from that direction, and a lot of the time they were very, very successful. There was a point where I really managed to hold out here, and a lot of shell holes started to develop around here where I could just place mortars, anti-tank guns and riflemen just sitting in the holes, and it was really difficult for the Americans to ever completely knock them off the map. And there were points where I was holding out around here. I've often wondered, the famous Hacksaw Ridge, where is that in relation to this game? Does anybody know? I'm starting to guess that maybe this mountain here is what it's supposed to be. But, you know, I don't know the answer to that. Next, we've got Hill 178. So, hang on, let's see. This is just kind of another highway. This was another bit of a disaster for me. This is a similar situation to, what do you call it? The Kakazu Ridge, because I had a tank unit here, so it was just crappy Japanese tanks trying to defend off the Americans with small scout teams and maybe the odd machine gun team, and basically the Americans were able to walk over this area. We had a couple of battles around here, but it was quickly secured by the Americans. Moving on is Sugarloaf Hill. I was hoping that this would be a big epic defense. It wasn't. The The problem, I think I've heard people criticize this map, and I remember thinking, oh well, look at it, it looks pretty cool. But if the Americans tack from this direction, because this is actually a very small map, so if they attack from this direction, they already start the game with half the bloody mountain. So you can see why it's not a very good place for the Japanese to defend. So I don't know, maybe this could have had more area around it, so that the Americans were forced to move to the mountain from an exposed area with no cover. That would have been more realistic, because quite frankly, what are those, what's that in Gold Juno Sword? There's the I think it's Merville batteries, you know, those batteries. That map there is harder than Sugarloaf Hill by a long shot. So yeah, I think that this is the map that could have been improved a bit. What else we got? Yeah, and then it's kind of like that's where we're at. They are in the process of taking Dakshi Ridge. I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. And they're just kicking my ass. As soon as the battle started, they kind of just spread out across the battlefield and kind of made waste to me. I think maybe we've had about 2 battles here. I'm going to have to pull back out of this map pretty soon. Immediately, actually. So after finally securing Tanabaru and Tombstone Ridge, these places just held out for ages. Even when the Battle of Hill 178 was going, these places were not secure, but they are now. Hill 178, this has been kind of almost like a sort of like an Iwo Jima hilltop, if you will. You got bunkers right across here, and I've managed to really pin the Americans down. At one point they were boldly expanding down here, down these roads with tanks. At one point I even had them going all the way up here, but I managed to stop that and regain some of my territory, and now we're at a situation when all the Americans are stuck where they started. They're receiving machine gun fire from up this hilltop, and heavy machine guns, anti-tank guns, I think sniper fire, and even super heavy mortars. Super heavy mortars, I think they only have like 8 rounds or 9 rounds, and they take about like literally 2 minutes to reload. But I don't know if it's a glitch, but when I fire it, I don't see an explosion. But what makes them different from other mortars, besides not being able to see the explosion, which is quite weird, they completely destroy tanks. So this is the only battle that has had a super heavy mortar, but the ability to be able to destroy tanks is very, very valuable. The main tank that I encounter, which is difficult to take out, is the Sherman Flame tank. I haven't seen anything bigger than that, I don't think. But yeah, I'm pleased that I'm you know, got them pinned here. Then if you it looks like they've moved on from Hill 178 at one point and passed through, and these are the 2 areas, Obi Hill and Aoki Hill, if that's how you pronounce it. So I think this one was first. He's moving down here, and I think I know what he wants to do. See, there's some pretty tough geography here. You got Love Hill, Skyline Ridge coming up, but then we start getting into the urban plains, I like to call it. So throughout the southeast part of the map, you'll see a lot of villages. So there's one. There's another. Look at that. More urban. Look at that. And this is probably going to be pretty scary for me if he manages to get into urban combat, because I have a feeling that he'll just wipe me out. There are no caves there. There's no good places to defend. His tanks will be able to maneuver through the grass fields. I think once he moves down into this more urban type of area, it'll be to his advantage. Yeah, there are some battles where, some areas where I can see that his battle groups are running out of tanks, and I think that's probably quite tough on him. I'm noticing that now on Hill 178 and this hill here. So this is what's going on. We've had quite a few battles here. I've managed to pin him down pretty quite well. You know, there are a lot of shell holes around here. It's actually kind of looking like a World War One type of battlefield, which is historically what a lot of the Okinawa fighting turned into. But he has slowly managed to move up here, and this is kind of like a staging area for where he can start pushing south. So yeah, I don't know if he wants to pull his battle group out and bring in ones with tanks, but for now he's just got infantry, and this is a bit of a slog for him. Yeah, but he's still got some you know, some pretty tough geography to traverse before he gets to that urban area. But yeah, it's quite exciting. Look at that. Hopefully I can try and make him pay for every step he takes around here. Obo Hill. This has been a disaster for me. The Americans have taken. I think this is another battle where those stupid damn Japanese tanks weren't able to. You know, they're kind of in the way. You know, if I don't want to use them anymore. So I think I've got some down here actually. Here it is. So I'll try use this tank in some sort of suicidal defense of one of these cities here, but yeah, they kind of just get in the way. Maybe I'll try keep them down south, and they can just be there for the last stand. Alright, what else have we got? So yeah, that's where the battlefield is at now. Coming up soon, we've got the capital city of Naha, and the Shuri Castle. So these once he takes these two, that would be a major milestone in successfully taking Okinawa. After that, we've got all sorts of tough geography. Still got some hills here. Iwa is quite a wide map, so I think once he takes that, that'll give him a lot of area to move. Got a few more towns around here actually, I just noticed, but I don't think I think, you know, it'll probably be starting to get pretty close to the end around that time. But yeah, the Japanese, there's no doubt they have some great equipment. Yeah, this is a command team, pretty normal. What do we got here? So veteran infantry, these are just, they got rifles. The heavy infantry are great. What have they got? Yeah, so they've got, you know, these little machine guns, which are quite effective. And these guys carry TNT and like various types of anti-tank equipment, so they're quite valuable. A lot of my battle groups have like, I don't know, 10 to 15 of these heavy infantry. It'll be a sad day once they start running out. Machine guns are always great. This is a heavy mortar. So yeah, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.